Hello there, welcome to Nerd.World. On this channel we look at all things sci-fi, all things fun, all things nerdy. The sky's the limit, don't have any preferences. In this episode we're going to be looking at 6 fictional corporations from TV series and films which I think stand out as particularly interesting. And with that said, if you like this channel, please like, share, subscribe and comment. It's all good for the algorithm, help the channel grow. Start a conversation about anything that I miss or anything you'd like to contribute. With that said, let's get started on this episode. Just before we get started, I'd like to mention that this episode does have sponsorship, but we'll get to them later. Zorg Industries was founded by John Lumic, a visionary, a genius with a vision for the future of the human race. He was able to create such incredible technologies from his corporation. Now, his company had its fingers in a lot of pies, no doubt. It was a big company. It had things in agriculture. It had its fingers in a drink called Vitex. It also had housing, development, as well as finance, banking, various different things internationally all over Earth, doing good work for the human race. Now, notably though, the company had particular areas of expertise in technical development as well as medicine. As this was a particular area, as unfortunately John Lumic, the founder and owner and director of the company, had a degenerative disease that was meaning that his life was going to be cut short. A great loss to the human race if such a mind was to fall soon. As a result, he spent a lot of his time developing technology to be used to extend his life and save others. He realized that by replacing damaged components of the body, replacing them with mechanical components that he could design and synthesize, he could extend life, save people from horrible burns, horrific car crashes, plane crashes, severe injury, gunshot wounds, you name it. By utilizing his cybernetics technology, he could improve the human condition. This was an incredible breakthrough. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't see his vision, as they thought to a degree these modifications were perhaps a little inhuman, but it's either that or die. I mean, he saw that, he understood it. He knew that life, as long as it was continuing, there was a chance, there was hope. Where there's life, where there's death, there's no hope. It's the end of hope. And he was a hopeful man, and he wanted a better, brighter future for the human race. And if they couldn't see it that way, that was their problem. But he was going to make sure that the human race continued, that they survived. No more would people have to suffer pain and misery and loss. He was going to get rid of it. He could remove it. And as a man who was disabled, he understood that kind of pain. His disability meant he lived in constant pain, difficulty to breathe, he couldn't walk. His mind was his only thing. The only thing he had still going for him, and he would use that powerful, genius mind to better the human race, and he did, by creating the Cyberman project, branding this incredible living machine. Now, there were some ethical complaints over this, but overall it would still be a great benefit. He understood the benefits of this technology that would have on the human race. Sometimes genius has to operate outside of conventional wisdom. We all know that. And he was definitely outside of conventional wisdom. His Cybermen would go on to be an entire new race, going forward into the wider universe, holding hands with humanity, absorbing humanity into them and becoming one, unifying our two peoples in the spirit of friendship and cooperation, improving us and improving themselves at the same time. We would live longer, be stronger, smarter, and we would go forth into the universe, in fact more than one universe, as a united people, greater and better than what we were before. And that was the legacy of Zorg Industries and the vision of John Lumic, who unfortunately, after his upgrade, as he was dying, his children upgraded him to make sure that he didn't die and his mind would not be lost. But unfortunately, he was killed by terrorists not long after he was upgraded. A great loss to both the human race and the cyber species. Our number 5 mega corporation is Zorg Industries. This corporation was a multinational, multiplanetary corporation with interests in multiple industries, ranging from taxi services, medical development, research, other humanitarian projects, as well as weapons manufacturing. But let's not kid ourselves. I mean, we don't live in friendly times. Humanity must be able to defend itself from the alien menace. Zorg Industries is there for humanity, putting the weapons in the hands of our fine men and women to defeat those alien scum. Now, yes, the head of the corporation, Juan Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg, is seen to do some fairly unethical things, but let's be honest with ourselves. We're not in the business of being good people. We're in the business of good business. You can't always be the good guy, even as a trillionaire entrepreneur like Zorg. You can't always be the good guy. When asked they need to lay off 500,000 workers, he makes the what is clearly informed and well-educated decision to fire 1 million. Why did he do that? It's not for me to say. I'm not a trillionaire in charge of a multiplanetary corporation. It's very likely that things behind the scenes that he was aware of, past experience, he knew that if he didn't lose his million now, he might be losing 2 million next year, or 3 million, or 10 million, or maybe the entire taxi service industry would go under. Save these 500,000 now to save another 500 in a year. Worthwhile compromise, if you ask me. Now, the corporation does sell weapons to aliens. It does sell contract mercenaries, but again, you can't. Every company has its dark side. Every company has to do things sometimes that are a little shady to keep competitive. Now, if that means making a deal with a possible demonic or unholy or possibly evil entity, I mean, who's to say it was really going to destroy Earth? He didn't know that. He was looking at the profit margin. He was thinking about his shareholders. Maybe he got a little overzealous. Maybe he overthought this. Maybe he didn't think it through enough. You can't really judge a company by the actions of one man. Now, we're not in the business of being nice people. Weapons are necessary out there, right? You have to make them. You've got to be able to defend yourselves against the alien horde. So the fact that Zorg produces weapons, this does not make them the bad guy. It makes them the heroes. They hire a few alien mercenaries. Good for them. They've got to earn a living. They've got families to feed, wives, children at home, depending on them bringing home money. What does Zorg do? He produces a lot of money. His company is very wealthy. He didn't become a multi-trillionaire by being stupid or being short-sighted. Zorg Industries has multiple niche industries that are greatly beneficial to the human race, hence why it's so politically influential and so well respected by government and so powerful and so important that an alien being of such godly magnitude would choose Zorg Industries as its emissary to the human race. So there you have it, Zorg Industries, another greatly benevolent and powerful megacorporation. Now, before we move on to our number 4, it's a word from our sponsor, the Pan-Galactic Trade Federation, the one-stop corporation for your every need. All your domestic, industrial, military, government, political needs all rolled into one beautiful, perfect package. Whether you are in the outer rim of the galaxy or the inner rim, whether you live on Coruscant or whether you live on Tatooine, they are there for you to provide you with the tools, literally in some cases, the tools you need to fix your speeder, to fix your spaceship, to fix your hyperdrive, to fix your sensors, your planetary defense grid. If you need battle droids, they've got battle droids. If you need medical supplies, they've got medical supplies. They've got everything you could need to build a whole civilization, your own paradise world, all to yourself if you really want it. If you've got the credits, they've got what you need. That's the Nemoidian Trade Federation. They sponsored this video. There's a link below if you wish to find them. Tell them I sent you. Now on with the video. In at our number 4 spot is the company built by the philanthropist, humanitarian, and entrepreneur Lex Luthor. We've got LexCorp. Now, certain alien infiltrators of our civilization have claimed on occasion that LexCorp has been responsible for political coups and espionage, even betraying humanity. I'm here to tell you right now it's all not true. This all spawned because LexCorp pragmatically realized that having a living god living amongst us, dictating to us how we should and shouldn't live, maybe we should have something to keep such a living god under control. I mean, what if he went evil? So they developed, for the benefit of the human race and even for the benefit of this supposed living god who claims to be very benevolent, you must understand that a means of control and order must be needed. They developed weapons based on kryptonite that could possibly hurt or even kill him. Now this would of course be a last resort. Lex Luthor is a humanitarian. He loves humanity. He loves Earth. He just wants to see Earth well defended. You can tell this from the various things that his company puts out. Alternative fuels. Trying to solve world hunger. Bring down food and fuel prices. Make the living of all people around the world, the standards, better. Better medical care for all. Better medicine for all. For the future, for our children. That's what LexCorp is about. The future. The future of us, the future of your children, and their children. LexCorp is here for us. Forever. Now coming in at our number 3 spot is Omni Consumer Products. The corporation that wants to build a better America. It's a Detroit-based company that saw a decaying and crime-ridden city and thought to itself, it's time to give something back. We've taken enough. We've taken enough money. You know what? Why not do something? The city's struggling. So they took on the completely non-profitable burden of paying for and training the police force. They equipped them. They gave them cars, new equipment, and they gave them the tools and resources to do their jobs better. Better than they'd ever done, better than any other city in the United States, and they augmented them with robotic assistants such as the Ed 209 battle machine, as well as the incredibly successful Robocop project. Now, on the surface, some of these projects might look like they could be potentially used for military application, and of course they could be. After all, OCP is a big company with its fingers in many pies, one of which is defense contracts. They would be negligent if they didn't fulfill those contracts. They of course have to develop weapons. They've got to develop new things. And if by coincidence those weapons can also be used to help reduce crime, save lives, then why not? Why should it just be for the military or the government? Hell, let's put an Ed 209 in every school. Let's see how many kids bring a knife. I say, yeah, do it. Put an Ed 209 in every school in America. Every school in the world. OCP was willing to put in the manpower, the money, financing, everything for that city. Realizing that there was no hope, that the city really needed a clean slate, they devised a visionary plan for the future. Delta City. Delta City was really just Detroit rebranded. They were going to sweep away the old, the crime-ridden, filthy streets, the poor sewer systems, the poor power distribution, the water plants, everything. Get rid of it all. Start again with a bright and shiny future for all the men, women and children of Detroit. And they would have a better future. And to come with that shiny future was RoboCop, the ultimate law enforcement unit. Years of police training and experience combined with the raw power of a machine, his ability to enforce law and protect the people and be a role model for all the children of the world. There can't be a price on that, and OCP didn't even try. They just went, whatever it'll cost, we'll do it, because that's the people we are. Now, for the number 2 spot, we have the amazing Wayland Yutani Corporation. This company was founded, initially at least the Wayland part, as the company is actually a conglomerate that's an alliance between the Yutani and Wayland companies. Now, Peter Wayland would found the Wayland Company possibly in the late 20th through 21st centuries, and later it would be merged with the Yutani Corporation, they then becoming the Wayland Yutani. They would be big into terraforming of new worlds. They would be amongst the first to send intergalactic starships to other planets, to found the first colonies, get humanity out of one basket, get us out there, seeding new worlds, making sure our civilization will live on. And they built the infrastructure around it to make sure it has massive, great mining ships like the Nostromo, one of many ships that they would operate, which would transport cargo across this great and bountiful human empire that we would build. The Wayland Yutani Corporation, of course, had its interest in other areas, not just mining and terraforming, but also, again, in defense contracts. An essential part of any great civilization is to defend its colonies. And after all, humans, millions of humans, were living on worlds far from Earth now, and they needed defending. At one point in the company's glorious history, they would one day encounter a creature of alien origin. It's an unclassified creature. It's quite hostile, quite dangerous. The thing is, so is a tiger, It's just an animal. But they discovered that this creature's exoskeleton is almost metallic and organic metal. The medical, scientific, and other gains they realized from study of this creature could be so beneficial to the human race that they would stop at nothing to get it. They devoted huge resources, sent out androids and ships looking for them, risking the lives of their employees, even senior executives going out with military forces to try to secure specimens of this incredible fauna. Now, history will decide whether or not it was worth it. There were some deaths, and this is unfortunate, but it's something that happens in all great discoveries. But the scientific and medical cures that they can find from this, the various different avenues of scientific developments and breakthrough, are innumerable. New types of artificial organ, new types of clothing, new types of insulation, new types of armor, possibly even new weapons. Although that, of course, would not be high on their list of priorities, as once again, Wayland Yutani is a corporation which is all about building better worlds for the human race, not destroying them. But we're not, again, it's not a company they're not making toys, although they do make toys. Now finally, number 1 is the Umbrella Corporation. This company was founded in the late 20th century. Its primary role was that of medical research, developing cures, new medical techniques and technologies, building hospitals. They were a huge corporation bent on humanitarian missions. One of their greatest accomplishments was the development of a virus. Now bear with me, a virus sounds bad, but this was a good virus. It was able to repair near dead, even necrotic tissue, bringing it back to life. They were able to cure almost anything with this virus. It was able to rewrite human DNA. It would make you stronger than you were before, so you would be sick, maybe dying, and then you take this T virus, and you'd actually be stronger at the end of it. You come out of your sickness a stronger, healthier individual. Amazing. Now, of course, this virus was expensive, and the company had to fund itself in the research of this in many different ways, including making weapons and other such technologies for sale to various international governments. But that's a small price to pay for a short-term conflict. Is nothing compared to the long-term benefits of such advanced medical research and scientific accomplishment. We should be thanking the Umbrella Corporation for their swift and effective dealings with such disasters such as the meltdown of the power plant at the Raccoon City facility. They saved a lot of lives. They got a lot of people out of that city, and they were instrumental in the cleanup operation. Now, some said that it was actually they were only really interested in their research. I mean, they had this huge underground research facility, but Of course, while they're trying to save lives, if they can happen to save some of their data, great, good for them. But that wasn't why they were there. That's not the main goal. Umbrella has, through its technological development, through its scientists, through the resources that have poured into these things, saved millions of lives. Although some of the weapons they have built have been used to injure, hurt, and even kill on the battlefield during times of war, their medical technology have patched up far more, saved far more lives. And that's what we should really focus on, the benefits, the good that they have done. And they've done a lot of good. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment about any other mega corporations from science fiction and fantasy you think should have been on this list. And tell me why. If you are enjoying the content on this channel, you might want to try my other channel, Nerd.World Films. It is growing. I've currently started a new Star Trek series over on that channel that I'll be adding to over the next couple of days, so there'll be a video up on there if you want to check that out. Please look at the other videos on that channel, like, share, and subscribe, and comment on there also. And with all that said, thanks for watching. Bye bye.